Hi, my name is Pranav Mahajan, and this is my final presentation. By the end of this presentation, you will have learned about the analysis of nonfiction articles through the eyes of feminism, rhetorical devices, and important themes in literature. The article I chose is titled, "If You See Somebody Not Wearing a Mask, Do You Say Something?" and is written by Robert L. Klitzman, who is a famous researcher and faculty at the University of Columbia. So this is one of the best piece of writing done in the certain circumstances where you're expected to protect yourself and everyone else from COVID-19, as we don't know when everyone will be vaccinated. The subject of my talk is analysis, not description, and it will be in 3 parts. So in my first part, I will be looking at this piece of nonfiction writing through the feministic point of view. In my second part, I'll be looking at the text considering the rhetorical devices used. And in the third part, I will be comparing the themes used in this article with the themes discussed in the wars. Seeing this article with keen observation through the standpoint of feministic theory, it appears that this article shows anti-feministic views. The author refers to third-person masculine pronoun more than twice when referring to viewers. Being a male writer per se and alluding to the masculine third-person pronoun shows domination of the masculine gender over the feminine gender. Moreover, Klitzman used the first person repeatedly in his writing. So he used the pronoun I as many as 10 times, which shows masculine domination and the suppression of females' voices. The writing alludes to brothers instead of sisters, as well as male sociologists and magicians, unlike female sociologists and magicians, respectively. This approach clearly highlights the importance of the male voice and degrades the female voice, which further substantiates the writer-biased approach towards the opposite gender. In light of all the given evidence, it can be said that the writing appreciates the patriarchal views and it suppresses the voice of 52% of the population, females. To sum it up, the writer unveils his male chauvinistic views by employing I and only giving male references, while also using he more than she as a third-person pronoun. Let's move on and try to see how this writing makes use of rhetorical devices to communicate key information to all of its readers. While reading this opinion for figurative language and rhetorical appeals, it discloses that the writer depends on rhetorical devices such as personification, metaphors, and also rhetorical appeals like logos and ethos. Masks are animated with the third-person singular and plural pronouns to increase the beauty of communication and to give an energetic feeling to the situation. An example is when the writer says, "They're hot and uncomfortable." In addition, easy metaphors have been used to make the writing more informative, entertaining, and convincing. So, for example, the metaphor cool is used for fabric face masks. That metaphor refers to wearing a comfortable and branded masks to increase the image of personality. What is more, the writing makes the best use of logical appeals such as logos and ethos. The Greek term logos means the use of logic to be more convincing, and the Greek term ethos means the use of authority in persuasive writing and speaking. In the 5th paragraph, there's a reference to a survey report which shows that 46% of people in urban regions do not wear a mask, which is a use of logic. Similarly, the allusions to Irving Goffman and Magic Johnson refer to the use of ethos for the sake of persuasion. Now, let's see how the themes of the article resemble the themes presented in the wars. Protection, air, inevitability of change, sanction of life, and private versus public are all themes seen in the piece of fiction which can also be reflected in this article by Klitzman. The main character of the novel, Robert, enlists in the military for 2 main reasons. The first being to protect himself from the guilt for he was supposed to care for his sister, and the second one is to safeguard his country and to protect his country from the army of Hitler. The article talks about protection of humanity from the global pandemic and motivating people to take protective measures such as wearing a mask to protect themselves and others from the COVID-19 virus. Change through a war is an important element of the novel, and the same phenomenon is also observed in the article, such as new norms being developed, such as social distancing of at least 2 meters and wearing masks when in a public place. In the same way, sanctity of human life is an important theme highlighted in the novel, which is also discussed in the article, with given examples so that people would learn to care for each other by adopting new norms. So let me sum up by emphasizing on some key points. The writer is anti-feminist in his approach. Rhetorical devices such as personification, metaphors, and rhetorical appeals such as logos and ethos have been incorporated in this article for the use of persuasion. The key issues in the article resemble the themes in the wars. Some of these themes that are seen in the fiction novel as well as in this article include protection, air, sanctity of life, inevitability of change, and private versus public. In my opinion, this writing should be suggested to everyone so that people would know the importance of self and others' protection, and also how to battle this global pandemic, which is equivalent to the Third World War that we are facing against a virus. And this war is being fought in every corner of the earth against a tiny and invisible enemy. This also reflects that humanity needs a mega project to fight against diseases. That concludes my talk. I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to look at this presentation, and I'm very interested to see your comments.